Hi everybody, welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles with my co-host who has taken the biggest role by doing it himself for the last 3 weeks.
Tried.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Jim Hughes.
Thank you.
And in this week's news, the Village News Today, in our Behind the Lens royal style, and local control is gone in our last story today. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. The Village of Oxford residents will be seeing sanitary sewer upgrades in the future as council approved to pay a nearly $400,000 bond to upgrade and to do maintenance on the entire village sewer system. According to Village Manager Joe Medore, the bond dollars come from a portion of the Oakland County Water Resource Commission of over $65 million the commission will issue from 2025 through 2029. No word yet on when the bond will be issued, nor when the projects begin. Jim?
After 6 years of working in the village, Oxford Clerk Treasurer Terry Ontw has announced her retirement in spite of the village attorney Bob Davis's motion to deny Ontw's, as people laughed and expressed their deepest gratitude, stating she is proud of what she and other village employees have accomplished and grateful for the relationships that they have built together. No word yet on what she will leave, but when she will leave, but an exit strategy is actually being discussed with both the village attorney and the manager. Much luck, Terry, in your retirement.
As if there aren't enough detours in our area, the Village of Oxford is planning to repair East Burdick. While Village Manager Joe Medore said the project is not a long one, he hopes that it will be completed before winter. Sounds long. The repairs are to spot remove curb and gutters for replacement where needed. Some driveway approaches will be replaced along with milling and resurfacing of street or even possibly full depth replacement on about 400 feet on the north side from 68 to 70 East Burdick. The detour plan is to reroute from Lakeville Road south on Gillespie to Drainer. If going north, traffic will be sent via Gillespie to Ray Road. The estimated cost could be in the $50,000 range. I think that's $500,000 range, with half of the funds coming from Oakland County Local Road Improvement Program and matching funds from the village. According to Medore, no word on when the project will start. Jim?
In community news, local social media is calling for a person to contact State Transportation Director Bradley Wilfrich, who the person is responsible for the massive construction project that seemed to be routing much of the traffic through northbound in Orion and Oxford townships. Clogging up our main infrastructure, social media is blaming this construction on a multitude of accidents we seem to be experiencing. While the added traffic stress seems to be possible, the reason for the unusual series of accidents happening in Oxford, paying super attention and avoiding other distractions. If you are going to travel through the orange barrels in your area, please pack your patience. Avoid road rage, cutting corners, and speeding. Once again, just pay attention while you're driving that vehicle. Terry?
And back to the roads, last week Oxford experienced a series of serious accidents within a 24-hour period. In one, a 60-year-old Oxford man was killed when a 68-year-old Lapeer woman turned in front of his three-wheeled vehicle. Mr. Calder was his name. He and his 12-year-old grandson and the driver of the SUV were all injured. Mr. Calder was killed, and the grandson and the driver of the other vehicle was taken to a nearby hospital. While emergency crews were on scene of this fatal, a single car hit a pole at the intersection of Seymour Lake Road and Coates Road. The driver was taken to a nearby hospital. The next day, another accident occurred at Drainer and 24 when a driver turned in front of oncoming traffic. 2 days later, another accident happened at the same spot. So please be careful out there. Jim?
As an addendum to the last story, the 60-year-old Oxford resident that was killed last week on Baldwin Road, the accident, his name was David James Calder, also known as Rebel. His wife Lisa said he was almost home when he was killed due to the car turning in front of him, as this is motorcycle season. Just a friendly reminder, she says, pay attention while driving. Mr. Calder served in the Army both in Korea and Italy, was awarded the Service Ribbon, Good Conduct Medal, Overseas Ribbon, Expert Badge on M16 rifle. He is an active member of the American Legion Post 108 and is an active Harley enthusiast. He belonged to the American Legion Riders of the Orion Oxford Fraternal Order of Eagles. 3613 funeral services for him were last Saturday. Our condolences to his family. Terry.
And in school news, 2 members of the Oxford Board of Education have resigned. While they stuck it out longer than one might expect, last week Mary Hanser and Heather Schaefer, both of whom were on the board during the accusations hurled at the board after the shooting. The resignation came 2 days after the Michigan State Board of Education voted to call upon the Michigan legislature to require and fund a comprehensive independent review of the shooting in response to the requests from the parents of the students killed. And that's the shooting at the school in November of 2020. If you are interested in applying for one of the 2 positions, an application can be found at oxfordschools.org. Deadline is June 26th. One term ends in November 2024 and the other in December of the same year. Jim?
Oakland Schools recently announced that the Oxford Virtual Academy teacher Molly Darnell has won the Oakland County Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award. Presented annually, the award honors county teachers who have achieved the highest standards and excellence in their profession. Oakland Schools and the Oakland Schools Education Foundation honored 63 teachers at the 2024 Outstanding Teacher of the Year ceremony. The winners were each presented with a $2,000 check. Darnell said she wouldn't be there without her amazing Oxford colleagues who have empowered her for more than 2 decades. Congratulations, Molly, on your recent award. Terry?
With all the conversation of the Oxford School District, a new group has been formed to focus on compassion, advocacy, and support. According to the creators, all words to inspire and spark change, as a new tradition established to honor and recognize members of the Oxford Community School District, dedicated to the special education community. CARES Award recognizes caring students and advocates who support students with disabilities. According to Director of Special Education Pamela Beal, these traits often go unrecognized for their crucial role in shaping the lives of students. If you are interested in being involved in or sponsoring the 2025 CARES Awards, please reach out to oxfordcaresaward.com. Jim.
In other Oxford news, no Cliff Clavin here. We've seen her for nearly 4 decades through rain, sleet, snow, heat, and sending our packages, our letters to our homes. After decades of walking and driving up and down the streets, mail carrier Lisa Holt is actually retiring. Lisa says Oxford is her happy place and has enjoyed friendly conversation, life events, and sharing part of the lives of all who live here. While she appreciates being treated so kindly by all on her routes, she is looking forward to retirement, but will miss her Oxford neighbors and especially her co-workers, Lisa. Last day as a carrier is June 28th, coming up real soon. Congratulations on the job. Well done. Thank you for your service. Thank you for getting all the mail there on time. Again, not a Cliff Clavin here. Terry?
In county news, over the weekend, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard warned residents to be wary of potential phony GoFundMe pages that have been created in the wake of last week's Rochester Hills shooting. Bouchard stated that the sheriff's office has not confirmed the authenticity of any charity. However, he did comment that anyone starting a fake GoFundMe page are bottom-feeding scumbags to prey off such tragedy. While some social media groups were offended by his comments, they appeared to be made out of compassion for the victims. According to police, the page in question appears to be a collecting funds on behalf of a man named Kyle J. Thompson, his pregnant wife, and children who he claims to be victims of that shooting. The police state neither Thompson nor the family were victims, but the page has raised more than $15,000. So be careful out there. Jim?
And in our Behind the Lens segment, something very special, last week being Father's Day, Catherine, Princess of Wales, wished her husband Prince William a happy Father's Day, sharing the sweet photo that went around the world with their 3 kids, the image taken by Kate last month in Norfolk, England. William is seen wrapping his arms around Prince George, 10 years old, Princess Charlotte, hard to believe, 9 years old, and Prince Louis, 6, as all to embrace one another with the admiring ocean and the calm beach of all 4 wearing coordinating blue tops as well as shorts. We love you, Papa. Happy Father's Day, CGCL. Kate captioned the photo shared on the Kensington Palace social media page. Even Father's Day can be honored in a royal manner. Good stuff there. And
Isn't that sweet?
yeah, it's kind of cool. I saw that picture and I'm like, you know what? You know, everybody celebrates Father's Day, and he is a father.
Yeah, he is. And I did see that picture. It's just adorable. And, you know, they're going through a rough time right now. And I love that she is a photographer.
Oh, yeah.
So she can take her own family pictures without all of us paparazzi
Yeah.
in their face.
It was a very nice
Yeah,
little photo.
yeah.
I mean,
Really
you'd see that
sweet.
on a calendar almost, you know.
Aren't we all in love with the royals? I think it's
I
really
think
cool.
we are.
Yeah. We are.
Coming up, our lost local control is gone. Terry's going to have that in our last story. You know him, you love him. He's here every week. Our own Dave Kenny will have Auto Talk and Science in the news. You're watching Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, BMW's big-selling X3 crossover has received a beefy redesign and an electrified powertrain. The 2025 BMW X3 starts at over $50,000, including shipping. Deliveries of the U.S.-made crossover began in the fourth quarter. BMW will offer multiple versions of the upcoming X3 globally, including an all-electric plug-in hybrid and an M Performance variant. Launched about 2 decades ago and last redesigned in late 2017, the X3 is BMW's best-selling model. The compact premium crossover accounted for 20% of the brand's first quarter U.S. sales. The 4th generation X3 will launch with 2 gasoline-powered variants that feature 48-volt mild hybrid technology. The BMW X3 30 xDrive is powered by a 2-liter twin-power turbo 4-cylinder that generates 255 horsepower and a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of 6 seconds. The performance BMW X3 M50 xDrive has a 3-liter twin-power turbo 6-cylinder engine that, combined with the mild hybrid system, delivers 393 horsepower and 0 to 60 mile per hour time in 4.4 seconds. The engine features redesigned intake ports and combustion chambers and tweaks to the ignition system, injection system, and exhaust gas routing. BMW said the lower weight, increased rigidity, and wider rear track make the new X3 more agile and stable when handling corners. The optional M Sport suspension on the X330 xDrive includes sport steering and M Sports brakes. The optional M adaptive suspension sharpens the agility of the new BMW X3 while improving ride comfort. The new generation BMW X3 is 1.3 inches longer than its predecessor at 187.2 inches, while its width is increased by 1.1 inches to 75.6 inches. A 1-inch height reduction combined with the wider tracks give the crossover a sportier look. The X3 carries the brand's more prominent signature kidney grille comprised of vertically and diagonally arranged bars. Daytime driving lights, side marker lights, and turn signal indicators in the LED headlights bracket the grille in an L-shaped assembly. Bold side skirts and a roofline extending deep into the rear emphasize the new X3's sporty silhouette. Prominently flared wheel arches accentuate the vehicle's broad rear. A long roof spoiler and adjoining side air deflectors border the rear window. The X330 xDrive model sports exhaust tailpipes integrated into the rear apron. The X3 receives a digital upgrade, a redesigned flat bottom steering wheel, and a new gear selector toggle. The cockpit is anchored by a curved display pairing a 10.25-inch cluster and a 10.7-inch central information display. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
A beautiful day last week with more than 70 golfers combined. Well, what would that include? Well, they all joined the Oxford Chamber of Commerce for its annual golf outing at the Metamora Golf and Country Club. The Oxford leaders sponsored the event, which included a 9-hole scramble, joined by 28 other guests to enjoy a full-course luncheon and a 50-50 raffle drawing. Networking with community businesses, thanks to the Oxford Chamber of Commerce and the Oxford leader for such a fun-filled event. Again, the summer golf season is underway, and thanks to the Oxford Chamber of Commerce. We don't thank them enough. They're behind a lot of the stuff that goes on here. I just want to pass a winning salute on to the Oxford Chamber of Commerce. In 1931, well, we should say this and preface this by saying Caitlin Clark wasn't the first. In 1931, a teenage girl made history in a way that no one could see it even coming. Jackie Mitchell, the 17-year-old pitcher for the Chattanooga Lookouts, took the mound and did the unthinkable. She struck out baseball legend Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig in an exhibition game. The feat, which sounds like something out of a Hollywood movie, is very real and showcases the incredible talent Mitchell possessed from a young age. Mitchell's potential was evident. Living next door to the future Baseball Hall inductee Dazzy Vance, she learned to pitch using a special drop ball technique. Her skills quickly advanced. By 17. She was playing for women's teams attending baseball school in Atlanta and catching the eye of Chattanooga Lookouts. In 1931, she was signed one of the first professional baseball contracts given to women. Mitchell's moment of fame came swiftly that season. Her triumph was short-lived, though. Despite her impressive performance against Ruth and Gehrig, the baseball commissioner soon ordered her contract, deeming the sport too strenuous for women. Undeterred, Mitchell continued to play professional with traveling teams until her retirement in 1937. Jackie Mitchell's story is the testament of breaking barriers and challenging the norms. Her legacy reminds us of the talent knows no gender. Even the world isn't always ready to accept it. Again, breaking barriers, just like Caitlin Clark. That's going to wrap it up in sports. Dave Kenny's got more. He'll be up next, and Terry will have the last story, something you're really going to want to pay attention to. It's right here on Oxford News This Week.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Mexico has been experiencing a severe heat wave due to a massive heat dome that has been affecting the country for weeks. Now, this system has extended northwards into the southern U.S., causing extreme heat across a large region. A heat dome is not a clearly defined scientific term, but is used by many weather forecasters. The American Meteorological Society defines it as an exceptionally hot air mass that develops when high pressure aloft prevents warm air below from rising. High pressure results in clear skies because sinking air warms as it descends. Clouds require the opposite conditions, with water droplets condensing out of the rising air as the rising air cools. These high pressure conditions mean lots of sunshine that results in further warming and can dry out the soil, leading to less evaporation and even less chance of clouds and rain. These positive feedbacks can lead to conditions getting hotter and hotter the longer the heat dome stays in one place. While heat domes cause heat waves, there can be heat waves without heat domes. The jet stream are fast-flowing bands of wind in the upper atmosphere that usually help move weather systems along the surface. But sometimes big loops form in the jet stream, resulting in weather systems getting stuck in the loops. These blocking patterns, as they are known, can lead to extreme cold, extreme rain, or extreme heat in the case of heat domes. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
In our last story, local control is waning, and that's something we should all pay attention to. This is a story we all should pay attention to because Dallas-based Vesper Energy is considering a battery energy storage system, otherwise known as BESS, in Groveland Township. Last fall, the state lawmakers okayed Public Act 233, please look it up, which shifts authority from local control to the Michigan Public Service Commission for massive wind, solar, and energy storage facilities. Some say this is to fast-track the development of renewable energy projects and shuts out local voices from conservation. The ability to decide where corporations place utilities like turbines, solar farms, and battery storage facilities will now be controlled by the Michigan entity Environment Great Lakes and Energy, otherwise known as Eagle. Such farms have already been imposed in the Upper Peninsula. Last spring, OCTV interviewed Citizens for Local Control co-organizer Kevin Martis, who spoke of an initiative aimed to reverse the governor's bill, but the group didn't get enough signatures to get the initiative on the November ballot. So the law stands. According to Michigan Senator Ruth Johnson, Michigan reportedly will lose over 300,000 acres without local input. Johnson says local control has already been taken away little by little with a huge push to do away with local ordinances on sand and gravel. She also said that there is a push for battery plants in Mundy Township as well as Groveland. Groveland Township Supervisor Bob DePalma told residents that if the township does not introduce legislation to cover battery, solar, or wind power systems, the community will be stuck with whatever the Michigan governing body Eagles decides the rules will be. As a side note, Eagles started a grant program to encourage communities like Groveland, Brandon, Oxford, and Addison townships to take a look at the solar, wind, or battery energy systems to have them in their community. Johnson said that in 2023, Governor Whitmer's budget allowed for state funds to be rewarded to energy adopters in the state and established that the renewables already are awarded to communities. The total funding available is up to $30 million in awards on a rolling basis. The max funding amount for a single project is $3 million. So please pay attention, please beware. Like I said, many acres up in the UP have already been designated as wind and solar farms without the permission of the community.
Yeah, I know you had the one
pretty
gentleman
scary.
here. I did watch that interview, and that was quite
Oh,
informative. I
please
actually
look
took it
it
back
up.
to the radio
Yeah.
station, and I think they even did a story there, but it's too bad they couldn't get enough signatures on that. I mean,
I know.
you don't want to lose local control. We usually lose a lot of stuff that we don't want to lose, and that was preventable there.
In communities south of here, it's not going to happen because there's not enough land. What these energy companies are doing is looking at enough land. I know that in Big Rapids, the government gave a Chinese company permission to put a battery storage plant there with their own police station.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty scary. So
Scary
anyhow.
stuff. On a lighter note.
I
on a
get
lighter
really
note,
involved in that kind of
I
stuff.
could tell. I wasn't,
Sorry.
I wasn't stopping you.
I know. Thank you.
Okay, listen, 2 questions. First question, what have we been listening to in the car for the last few weeks?
I'm listening to another Native American story written by William Kruger. He's just amazing, and there are mysteries. It's the
Freddie's
Chippewa
brother.
Indians, which is, I'm part of that tribe, but this is Minnesota, Bemidji, Minnesota. It's very interesting. So this is probably the 7th or 8th book I've listened to.
Now, the other thing is this is just being funny, I guess. Do you ever pray for a traffic jam so you can finish a book?
I do, and there's oftentimes I'll sit in the car after I've gotten home from work because I want to finish out that chapter. It's
Well, with all the orange barrels, you know what? Maybe that's
I
that
know.
would ease the tension.
It truly doesn't bother me to sit in that kind of traffic because I get to listen. And so I'm probably talked about this before. I get these books downloaded free through the local library.
Right.
So you can listen to any kind of book you want.
On your phone.
And
in
I've
the
got them
phone
backed
thing.
up. I've gone through and ordered quite a few of them. So
I think they do podcasts like that too. I never done that yet, but I'm
I
gonna.
do have a lot of podcasts too, and I did a lot of podcasts prior to this, but I got so involved in that kind of community stuff
Right.
that I needed to settle down a little
Well, it's
bit.
good to have Terry back with us, and
Yeah,
again, I'm
happy to
glad
be back.
people were wondering. See, we started something here, and maybe to ease your tension during the traffic jams, go get a book on tape or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they call it, right? Is that what it's called, a book on tape?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
it is. I listen to it on my phone.
I think we poked this one enough. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter, Channel 191, Channel 99 on the ATT Uverse system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, also Roku, the app, and Fire Stick. I remembered that.
Oh, yay.
As well as if you have a show idea and would like to be part as a volunteer. We do need volunteers. OCTV can be reached by calling our main office at 248-628-9658. Ask for Dave or even Terry. A very special thank you to producer and director Kyle Snage, news writer extraordinaire. She's back 1 year under her belt.
Yeah.
Allison Miller from college. She'll be back shortly. Programmer Connie Miller, station manager Terry Stiles, sometimes doubles as an anchor. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time, and again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye-bye.